Hi everybody, this is Billy Castillo from the band Fear to Stop. Um, Background over here is my lovely wife Dana, also from Fear to Stop. How you doing, hon?
Hey, I'm good.
We just got through listening to Volume 1 of a collection of songs we're putting out to celebrate our 20-year anniversary as both a band and a couple. So that's pretty special, you know. Um, it's been a hell of a ride, guys. I mean, 20 years is like, whoa. I mean, listen to us when we first started, where we're at, and then compare it to where we're at now. It's like it's night and day, guys. I mean, it's been fun looking back, but it's been good times, bad times, in between times. You know, I mean, what were your thoughts after hearing, you know, everything going from the earliest stuff like the flood from 2001 all the way up to 2011's You Can't Hear Me.
It brought me back to memory lane, I got to see some of our earlier stuff and our latter stuff, but it's progressed.
Yeah, and that was the thing that kind of blew my mind too. Is when I was listening to some of our earlier work, there were a few songs where it kind of hit me that like you know what I can hear sounds of our current stuff in it, which is weird because overall, I mean we're a completely different band when we first started. I mean our lineup's different to start off with. I mean, but 20 years, even if our lineup would have stayed the same, 20 years on, you're going to sound different. But in our case, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, our sound actually changed right when we hit the decade mark. I mean, I don't know if that was, planned or not, but it's just completely different. And you guys will notice that when Volume 2 comes out, probably in a few months. That's currently the plan is to do it in May, to officially, match up with our anniversary as a band. Although the earliest song here was actually done in June, so I don't know. I guess it's kind of uh, that'll work, man. I got the software that we used to make uh, that we used to make music and all the stuff on this set. Actually, we got it in May, so I guess technically you can mark May as the beginnings of Fear to Stop. And the funny part about that is, we kind of have Fleetwood Mac syndrome, and in many cases actually, uh, that sounds incriminating. That's not what I meant. Um, in our case, it's more along the lines of people who like our earliest stuff won't necessarily be fans of our later stuff, and vice versa. I mean, look at again talking specifically about Fleetwood Mac. They started off as a hard rock blues band, and then they switched to folk, psychedelic type acoustic rock. Started throwing in a little bit of some funk sounds to it, and then some stuff that sounded kind of like along the lines of Steve Miller Band, and then went to the prototypical 70s version of the California sound that Brian Wilson had came out with, and then 80s pop, and then whatever the hell it was in the 90s that I can't even talk. Like what happened, guys? I love you, but I don't know what happened. Lost the plot a little bit. Well, same with us. I mean, um, we kept the same music software for 19 years, before we finally changed up. But even then, uh, we didn't use it the same way, and that's something that I personally noticed. I mean, what did you notice from listening from the earlier stuff all the way to the last track, which is the next last track, which was 2011? What did you notice along the way?
That we kind of lost some of our electro sound.
Interesting that you say that, because me and Big J were talking. In case of when I'm referring to our bandmate Jason Smith, when we talk, we refer to him as Big J because our daughter Jamie, also in Fear to Stop, is also J. So it's Big J and Little J. So it gets confusing after a while. Sorry, guys. That's just how things roll. Um, and me and Jay were talking. Big J, we're talking, and we noticed that even in the beginning, with the exception of the first song that's on the set, which we'll talk about in a minute, we weren't ever really like a hardcore electronic group. We use electronic software. I mean, software is electronic. I mean, someone show me acoustic software, and I'll be like, okay. By definition, it's electronic. But third, um, but we kind of pushed back because we figured, everybody's gonna like, oh look, they use a program to make music. They're not a real band. It just automatically thinks we're techno or something. Remember how I was like, that was something you were very concerned about.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no. So anytime we did something that was overtly electronic sounding or something that could be mistaken for electronic pop, we went out of our way to make it weird. I mean, seriously. And if there was a mistake in there, like a note clashed, we left it in there. We went after the whole warts and all punk style, where one take rules it all, which is hilarious because anybody knows anything about our current music situation knows that I'm very. What's a nice way to put it when it comes to my approach to production now?
Anal.
Okay, yeah, that's nicer than I would have said. I'm obsessive. I can't help it. I'm one of those. I'll spend all day on a single mix just because, like, oh, there's like one note that's like, 5 millionth of a decibel's too soft. Let me go ahead and adjust it for 5 hours, and then give up halfway through because I'm not happy with it. The next day I come back and finish it in like 5 minutes. But not at the beginning. So if you followed our music for past few years and maybe became fans that way, just a warning in advance, it's gonna sound completely different. And then say better or worse, it's just different. So keep that in mind. We're gonna go track by track. Anybody purchases the album on their Bandcamp site as opposed to like Amazon or anything, which I strongly recommend. Go, real talk, guys. Go to feartostop.bandcamp.com. Link will be in the description. Purchase it that way. Uh, some retailers may have it cheaper or more or higher. I don't care. You're really gonna get your money's worth from the Bandcamp link because not only do you have all 50 tracks, I said 50, 50, but you also have very detailed liner notes. I spent all day working on this. So okay, seriously, real talk, guys. Uh, Jay has some of his thoughts. This video may be included. I don't know. Probably not. We'll have like 300 megabit upload limit on Bandcamp, but if that turns out to be the case, I'll put the link in the liner notes. I don't really care. Y'all probably never watch this again, but hey, if you are, hi guys. Anyway, that was stupid. It's gonna have some rare photos, but the liner notes are pretty cool. I used to be very OCD. Actually, I am legitimately OCD, but mine's not like hand washing or anything. It's other things. That sounds vaguely disgusting. Uh, I did used to keep like very detailed notes on when something was recorded. I've kind of got a little bit lax over the years with that, but early on, like up until maybe like 2005, it's gonna say pretty much, in order, how everything happened. If something was recorded later, or not recorded later, but finished later, like in a different year, it'll document that. There's some funny stories in here. Oh my God, there's stories. Let me ask you this: when you're reading this, and trying not to incriminate anybody, but when you're reading the liner notes so far, on what was the favorite? What song had your personal favorite story? Uh-oh.
Evil Mindy.
Yeah. There's a track called Evil Mindy. I'm going to get to it in a minute, guys. But, yeah. Those sessions were legendary. We start off in 2001. We had The Flood. That was recorded June 2001. Okay. We had just gotten married. And during our honeymoon, we had to cut it short because a tropical storm was coming. Tropical Storm Allison. Now, automatically, our Houston fans that watching this is just going to be like, "Oh God, I'm sorry," but for everybody else, um, tropical storm came, flooded. We were on our honeymoon, and like we got to cut it short, because we didn't want to get stuck. And on top of that, I needed a root canal done. Messed up. I mean, I got it done, and it worked okay. And now it's like 20 years later. I need to get that done, and I need another one on the other side, direct opposite. My God, bless America. Anyway, uh, so I'm getting a root canal done right when the storm's starting to hit. Power goes out in the middle of it. Now, there's two people you never want to hear say "oops." Proctologist and the dentist. But that's a whole nother story. So anyway, we figured we'll have a second honeymoon. Like we'll go ahead and continue it. And we're waiting for our apartment to be ready, so we're staying at our mom's. We're staying at our mom's, and let's just say that the storm came back, guys. It actually rebounded. And this is why it's actually a historical thing. You can just Google it. Hurricane or Tropical Storm Allison with two L's. Houston, 2001. Yeah. When it came back with a vengeance. Just like 2021 so far is basically just a rebound of 2020, which this comment probably either be mind-blowingly accurate in future years or completely off the mark. It came back to the point where it flooded. And when I say it flooded, the water stopped right at your mom's door, remember?
I remember.
Guys, you can Google the images, real talk. I remember Raymond, or that bandmate, good buddy, the best man in the wedding. He went to go get a pack of cigarettes, and in the floodwaters that come to his waist, right? And it came back. It was raining again or something, but needless to say, the pack of cigarettes got wet. We came home. We came back to her mom's, and he put the pack of cigarettes in the damn microwave. Right off. But anyway, so while he's fucking around with, excuse my language, guys, when he's jerking around with the cigarettes, I'm like, you know what? We survived. This could have been really bad. And I'm looking at the lake that used to be the street, and literally I saw someone in a kayak. Never thought I'd see a kayak going down the gosh darn street, right? And I'm like, I'm inspired to do a song. So I started working on a song in this music software that Raymond had bought me. I bought her and I as a wedding gift called Music Generator 2 for the PlayStation 2. And I know I need to hurry because I'm spent like 15 minutes. I'm talking about one song finally. I haven't even gotten to it. So anyway, I'm inspired to do a song, and I'm like, I'm gonna call it The Flood, regardless of how it sounds. I'm gonna call it The Flood, and that was great. It came out pretty good. I mean, y'all are about, by the city, you'll hear it. I was like, you know what? We may have something here. I majored in music production as she took some music production classes. Well, and in fact, my instructor was once a student of her instructor. So, I mean, go figure, right?
Yeah.
And we had done some music creation together before, but not on a serious level, just kind of, just fluffing around and stuff, right? And that was the whole reason why Raymond bought us Music Generator 2. Because it was like, hey, I like what y'all are, y'all like doing it. So one day, this is after we got our apartment and everything, Raymond's like, hey, can I have a crack at it? I'm like, sure, go ahead. And well, that's track 2. I'm looking at her phone. I'm not pointing at my crotch or nothing, guys. Don't be looking at me like, what's this clown doing? It's track 2, Dry Tears. And That was Raymond's very first song, very first attempt at doing anything in any kind of music creation, anything. And I was listening. I was like, wow. I mean, were you there when he did it? Oh, you were you at work?
I think I was at work.
Okay, but I remember I was. Oh, I'm the one that told you. That's right. I was like, hey, check out what Raymond's doing. You know, he did 3 songs that day. He did "Dry Tears," which is on here. Another song called "Mosquito Bite," and another one called "Jungle Lovin'." That was the third one. Those other two may be released on a future rarities collection. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty good, man. Maybe we should, form a band. Like the two of us, just make a group, you know. And our goal was to maybe like one day get like people to actually play these songs, on actual instruments, and we're gonna form like a duo, like a production duo, like the Matrix or the Neptunes, stuff like that. Although they weren't Neptunes weren't out then, but you get the point. Hope. I'm like, well, let's go grab some food and let's go talk about it. So we went to this Asian food buffet, and over sushi and dim sum and all that kind of good stuff, we decided we were going to form a band, and there we go. Fear to Stop was born. Although not really. We didn't actually go by Fear to Stop for at least not a year. We were originally called Frog and Beaver. I was a frog, Raymond was the beaver. Now it's the time for the story. His teeth, I always say he looked like a beaver. He was a beep beep, and I sleep like a frog, like my legs and stuff. And I sleep, a few times I sleep on my back, I sleep in the frog position.
You got frog legs.
Anyway, so Frog and Beaver, that's what we were. So this is by this point we're in September 2001, and this is gonna be the first song we're actually writing together. Okay, because we'd written some songs, separately, and trying to match what the other person was doing. There's the Fleetwood Mac thing again, right? Then 9/11 happened. I know some of my liner notes and humor is. I'm not gonna make any kind of jokes there, guys. I'm not going there, but it affected us pretty. One thing about us is that when things are kind of hitting kind of hard, we do two things. We make jokes about it, and then we make a song about it. And this was one of those cases. Granted, some of the stuff that it's kind of looking back in it now, it's kind of tacky. I mean, a few days after 9/11, I'm going to take a song in a vaguely Arabic feel, vaguely Middle Eastern feel, and make an Osama bin Laden joke at the very end. Not my shining moment. Not my finest moment, guys. I know, but I was taking the piss out the whole thing because I was cathartic. I mean, other people have done way better videos and things talking about it. So obviously, those of you that were alive during it and are of age, our age, you already know. So that was Afghan Bound. That was the first song we wrote together. And
remember your dad's reaction when you heard it?
did Dad hear it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Your dad and Auntie heard it.
I never thought Dad heard any of our songs. I mean, I know he was there in the studio at one point, and I'm gonna tell that story in a minute.
He laughed.
Oh my goodness, I don't remember. Huh? I'll be damned. So my dad did. I know Aunt D would have laughed. I can just picture her laughing.
Yeah, Aunt D laughed too.
I figured that much, but I did not know that. Huh? That's interesting. So at this point, we start writing, together, and there's a part where we're actually starting to take it a little seriously, and that's where we got a few of the songs on there. Got Vortex on there. We got other songs there that didn't make the cut. We on the feature Rary's collection have the Flood Part Two, which is way more experimental. Uh, Villains, which was a shorter piece that kind of takes the main riff from the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson Heroes and Villains. Kind of takes that riff but makes it kind of dark and evil and slow with a hip hop beat. That was a good one. There's another song called Polar, and there were a lot of songs that got lost. We were we were sending some of our master tapes to a friend who was gonna make CDs out of them, and something happened with the package, and two of the tapes got lost. And these are the songs that are gone forever. Some of these I didn't have. I didn't have any other copy of them, but most of them I remembered. That's good. That's one thing about me. I never forget a song. As I read in the liner notes, I may forget to take my medication if I don't set my alarm, but by golly, I never forget a song. I think. I think there's some songs in there I may have forgotten, but and the lost tapes, and it would be them. It would be the lost tapes. I mean, we recorded over 1,000 songs that still exist, and I'm not playing, guys. We've literally recorded over 1,000 songs, and if you listen to everything all the way through, it'd take you over a week. That was crazy. But I remember I put them in Windows Media Player, and it showed the length.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. That's kind of mind blowing. So this was a daunting task to put the set together. Um,
Speaking of lost songs,
mhm.
remember that time back in 2004 when me and Raymond was working on the song?
Oh no, I
And
remember.
somehow it didn't save
Yep.
and we lost it.
Yep. And again, a couple years later, Raymond had came over, and this was around the time period he wasn't as active in the band, and y'all had come together with it was like a damn masterpiece, and you're playing the song, you're playing with it, you're playing the song with me over the phone. I was on my way home from work, and then power went out. I told you to save it like right before, and then power went out
Yeah,
right after I told you to save it. This is 2006, and the power went out right as you were about to save it and erase the song. I remember that. So it's happened to us. We've lost quite a few songs, guys. I mean, honestly, our our total amount of songs are probably like over 1,200. If you want to count everything we've ever done, and that may be generous, or that may be a conservative estimate. Excuse me. So chronologically, wow, 23 minutes. I have a feeling this is gonna be too big to go on the DVD, so we'll send a link to the people who purchased it. We're on Vortex. Um, Early work, a little bit more electronic than we'd end up doing. Uh, the version that's released that's on the set is the alternate version. There was a different one that was, unfortunately, one of the ones that got lost. I wish I could remember how the original one went. I don't think it was that different, personally. Um, I think it was pretty much note for note, but there may have been a couple of instrument samples. But we really want to talk about track number 5, Garlic Crosses. Now, we've been playing this video game called Metal Gear Solid 2. Just came out. I mean, literally that day. Okay, this is why I can remember what date it was. And geez Louise. Oh my goodness! I just realized something else unfortunate about the day the game came out. I gotta change the liner notes. I put in there it was recorded November the 13th, 15th. We got it a month later. The day it came out, the day my mom died. Wow. I gotta update those liner notes. Ooh, it's a good thing I didn't submit them yet. Um, yeah, so a month after it came out, so December the 13th, 2001. Um, we bought Metal Gear Solid 2, okay, and we played it all night. Like, Raymond would come over, and we played video games till butt crack of dawn. Real talk. She'd go to sleep. Then by the time she'd wake up to go get ready to go to work, we'd still playing the same damn game. Um, well, there's a part in the game, Metal Gear Solid 2, where it's a text conversation. I mean, there's voiceover. I mean, there's the voice, but it's also written on the text. And to go to the next page, you have to hit the button. For those of you not familiar with the Metal Gear series, it's a really great stealth action game, but it's got a very deep story. But when I say deep, I mean deep. Deep, deep, deep. Like, we're talking about every time Ted Cruz opens his mouth deep. Pretty bad. Boy, that comment probably is going to date in a few years. Anyway, pretty deep. Some may say pretentious. Okay? Well, this conversation was so long. Keep in mind, this is mostly text. You're seeing the little characters on the screen. It's not cinematic. You're seeing a little box of dialogue where they're speaking through this thing that's kind of similar to like a shortwave radio, except you can visual. There's so many lines of dialogue that it took 30 minutes of hitting the X button repeatedly for us to finally finish. We were so tired of the damn thing, but we hadn't gotten to a point to save, and we just had a really, really, really tough boss fight. So we're like, we're not gonna start over. So we're hitting that button so damn hard. I swear to God, I'm surprised we don't have carpal tunnel. And I remember Raymond made a joke, says, "Good thing I jerk off left-handed." Butt munch. That's why he said that. Anyway, so anywho, almost 30 minutes.
I just got a bad visual.
I'll probably have to split this up into two parts. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark. We're just in 2001. We're still waiting to talk about garlic crosses. Anyway, so as soon we were able to save and quit. Bet your bottom dollar we hurried up and did it. And we need to blow off some steam. So, and went music generator, and garlic crosses was the result. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, what the line "garlic ass motherfuckers," pardon my language, actually means. I don't know, but it's in there. The ending. Marilyn Manson, long before the whole world knew that what a complete waste of human flesh he was, or is, I should say. That was Raymond's boy. Marilyn Manson is the Raymond, or was the Raymond. I don't know if he still is the Raymond what Brian Wilson, is to me, a musical idol. And Manson had just did a cover of "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics. And so, for some stupid ass reason, I decided, you know what? Let me do a screamo thing of another '80s song or dirt. So I did Corey Hart, "Sunglasses at Night," and I did like one thing about "Where are my sunglasses at night," like that. And I'm not doing it too loud. The little girl's sleeping in it. Little girl, she's gonna be 14. I still call her a little girl. Just screamed. She screamed. I hope she don't scream. Anyway, so I just screamed it, and then hurt like hell, and I start coughing, and then I like kind of like half-ass cough like that, and then I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and continue with it. So I did a fake cough like that, and then you got the ending. Let's see what we got next. 2002, Madness. What was when you were listening to Madness, son, and you're reading the notes, what went through your mind?
I was trying to remember what song it was, to be honest with you.
That was the one where the tagline has my voice sped up, and I'm like,
Mommy, now that Daddy's gone, that makes you the man of the house.
Oh yeah.
you know, that song, and it was written in different sections. So it was like bump, 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 and then it went, then it changes it. You know that part?
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, it was that one. But I completely forgot that that song existed until I started going to tracks with the set. Thanks to Big J for reminding me. Um, and we got Dreamcatcher. By this point, we were no longer Frog and Beaver. We were Sanity's Requiem. Uh, so Dreamcatcher was her. Dana had not been involved as much at this point, despite her and I working together previously before we got married. At this point, it was just Raymond and myself. But she started working on stuff on her own without telling us, right? Like doing it on the slide. That sounds bad. Like we need our permission. But she she was coming up with some stuff. Now most of, to be honest with you, they were in fragments. They weren't complete. Some of the parts didn't go together. But it was like she had it in her head. Record it. Don't forget it. Which I'm glad he did. Because ironically enough, or oddly enough, a lot of those songs that were just kind of like different riffs that were just put together that didn't fit, I eventually went in and took like several of those riffs and made songs out of them, just rearranging them, and we ended up with quite a lot of material from those early sessions that she did, which is crazy. Uh, we were up until maybe 2006. I was still taking stuff from there, and I was making new songs with them. Like I was completing them. And it ended up, back then I was like, I listened to it, I was okay. Honestly, I don't want to say anything, but I was like, I don't really know about this. Everything kind of clashes, but okay, I'll try to make it work. Not realizing later on that it didn't clash. Actually, she was doing our sound that we would do later. That I just wasn't ready for it. That's crazy. She was ahead of the curve before, as usual. And that's been one thing about you, huh? You're the first one to try new software. You're the first one to experiment with new things before any of us do. No matter what incarnation of the band. That's always been you,
Yeah.
So, kind of owe you. So we're on Dreamcatcher. Yeah, so Dreamcatcher is one of them songs. Actually, one of the ones that was pretty much mostly complete. Funny part is, again, ahead of its time, 2002, that reverse guitar would be a sound that we would go back to many times. This past year, that's right. I left you in suspense for a reason. Because if you haven't kept up with us recently, we've changed our sound again since towards the end of last year. I would say this November. We Ever since we switched to GarageBand instead of Music Generator, our sounds have completely changed. Although you can still tell it's us. Well, Dreamcatcher, you can hear it in songs like Midnight Tango. But that guitar riff, that reverse guitar, you were doing that almost 20 years ago. You were doing that 19 years ago, and ahead of the curve. Your Carnival. All right. We realized the name Sanity's Requiem wasn't going to work. It's too pretentious. And there's also a subtitle of a video game we were playing called Eternal Darkness. And we're like, we can't really use it. Although, ironically enough, we did a song called Eternal Darkness the following year. So I went with Raymond to go get some gas. He went to go gas up his Kia Sportage, or as I refer to in the liner notes, his work wagon. Oof, goodness. This is going to date the time period very much. But he was listening to Power Man 5000. Yeah, I was lying in the song. It said something about fear to stop. And I was like, you know what? I can get the exact quote right now. What is it that really motivates you? The need to fly or this fear to stop? And we looked at each other like, that's it. We're fear to stop. And we're going to change the word two to the number two since there were two of us at the time. You know, it was before Dana became an official member. The following song after that changed it. But anyway, so Carnival was our first song actually asked Fear to Stop. This is July 2002. I'm probably going to cut this off and split this into parts because we are at the 35-minute mark, and I know you guys are going to get bored if I go on for too long. Because we're about to get to a massive change. Now, if you notice, you listen to Carnival, doesn't sound like what y'all have heard so far. I mean, you can automatically hear that there's been a big growth. The following song, Celestial Dreams, which is all her, shows that we were kind of shortchanging her. Not for the first time, unfortunately, but she had a lot to offer. So her and I started working on an album together, just her and I. It was going to be called Astral Thumping. Unfortunately, the master tapes have long been lost. Even the CD copy, cannot find it. Which is unfortunately, there were some songs on there that I wish we would have put out. There was a up-tempo version of the Beach Boys, Please Let Me Wonder. There was also a 50s style ballad I did called At the Diner. Or The Diner, excuse me. It's gone. Excuse me. I do deeply apologize. But Celestial Dreams was pretty good. Like, it's a little more sparse production-wise than, later. It was an early song, but I mean, I think you did outstanding on that. I literally did nothing on the track except just hit record on the machine and sit back and like, awesome. How did you feel once you realized that you were gonna fit in with us musically?
I felt proud. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Excuse me.
When y'all first started doing this on y'all's own, my feelings was kind of hurt a little bit because I wanted to join in, and y'all were like, yeah, later on, and
I feel bad now in retrospect. I feel like an idiot too because without you, I mean, we wouldn't have been the band we became. Boy, I've been saying that a lot lately. You, and when Big J joined, and then certainly when Dean Entwistle joined our band. Oh goodness, we took another leap. That's for a later day, the second set. But you really, I mean, that's when you joined up. That's when you came into your own. I'm gonna stop this and two more songs because when we pick up where the Frowny Frown sessions are, that's going to be probably a whole nother video, like a video by itself. We're hitting the 40-minute mark. Next track is called Pizza Delivery Frog. Now, I had a job delivering pizzas for one day, literally one day. People that do it and have been able to do it might tip my hat to you, but wasn't for me. I got lost at one point, and this is before GPS or MapQuest or Google Maps or Apple Maps can go. Yeah.
Apple Maps is complete trash.
It's just trash, but yeah. So I got lost, and I did what I always do when I start stressing: start writing music in my head. And this is the result. Talking about Pizza Delivery Frog. Another bridge, you go do 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 do. I imagined like a frog standing over a box of pizza, He opens up the lid, and like the steam is just like hitting me in the face, and the frog's like, oh, like making its own face and stuff, right? And it like, lifts up the slice, and the cheese is just like in a commercial where, real talk, you may not know this, but pizza in the commercials, that cheese is actually glue. But now you know. So anyway, so the cheese is like stretching out like that, and the frog's like that, looking at it, right? And that's what I was imagining in my head. So, so this was the result. Two things. That song may sound familiar, and there's two reasons about that. So, one thing. Two reasons. We later revisited it on a track called Sanctuary from the following year. Basically a rewrite, more professional sounding rewrite. And the other thing is, I may have subconsciously nicked the melody from the Beach Boys' Johnny Carson. And part of it, who's the man that we admire? Johnny Carson is a real live wire. You know that part? You can hear it. Ba 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 ba. It's not quite the same thing, but it's close enough that I kind of look back in it now like, Did you kind of notice that too, hon?
I didn't catch it, to be honest with you.
Oh, thank God. Maybe nobody else will. Well, now they will, because I pointed it out to them. But, yeah. And once you hear it, though, you can't unhear it. And Misty. This was me. And this was apparently me by myself. I always thought it was myself and Raymond. Because Raymond and I had a certain style when we wrote together. But apparently it wasn't. That's why I was kind of like, I didn't really remember the song that well until we started going through this set. But it actually, looking back at it now, it was actually a very, very key song to our development as a band, because complete departure from electronics, obviously. I mean, you listen to it, this is already look at it, a year ago. This was fall 2002. Okay, this was 1 year ago. We were doing Afghan Bound. Okay, Vortex, Garlic Crosses, and now we're doing a song that's piano based. And yeah, I know a whistle sound was kind of shrill. Sorry. I wasn't gonna change anything on this because I wanted to present it exactly according to historical accuracy was that was my bag for the set. But for the first time, we went for something different. We wanted it to be more of a I don't want to say classical, but you can picture somebody playing this like on a grand piano with no other instruments. The part, the bass part is the do 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 do, and then the right hand's playing do 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 do. Actually, that does sound kind of classical. True confession. I wrote that riff in college when I was taking piano class, and somewhere I have a cassette tape of me actually playing it, and it was a riff I used to play a lot while my teacher was talking to annoy her because she was, I don't know, her and I didn't see, we didn't click. What's up?
One song you missed that you didn't put on the box set?
Oh, crap.
And I'm surprised that it didn't get on there.
What's up?
Was the one where you sampled me snoring?
Clarity on a Bad Day.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because we got to wrap up because it's 45 minutes into this. I'm going to do another volume of this tomorrow. But Clarity on a Bad Day was part of an album project we were doing called Frowny Frown. Now, as mentioned, we are big marks of the Beach Boys. And the Beach Boys had done that album called Smiley Smile. It was a very trippy album. for various reasons. And I'll leave it at that. And we're like, you know what? We're gonna do an album just like that. And it was gonna be very basic, uh, very light production, uh, even more so than previously. And it's trippy. The following song, 2 p.m., uh, is the start of those sessions proper. Now, we're going to touch on that tomorrow, because again, this is 45 minutes. But it's worth a watch. Or worth a watch. Well, yeah, this has been worth a watch, but tomorrow's is going to be good, because we're going to go into the sessions complete. Frowny may have its own video. I'll put it like that. We recorded enough material to fill up its own box set. I'll put it like that. There are there are at least 2 CDs worth of material that still exist. There is maybe a little bit more on my hard drive. Maybe about another CD's worth. So yeah, this would have been a double album at least. At the very least, this would have been a double album. Now the other ones have songs like Damn I Miss Wally.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, guys. Any final thoughts, just for our story up to this point?
Damn, we did a lot of stuff.
Just in a short period of time.
Yeah.
You know, the funny part is, we could have done a whole set just devoted to 2002 alone. 2003 as well. When you think about it, you know, Frowny Frown, we started it in middle of October, and there was a week straight where not only did I work every day, but it was like, you know, on the music, but there were some days where I would literally do it from dusk to dawn. I'd wake up, work on music literally until I went to bed, like 24 hours later, sleep late, wake up and do the whole thing all over again for about a week. Unassisted, mind you. I wasn't one of them people who like had to consume different, you know, substances to stay awake. You know, like I wouldn't even drink coffee at the time, which is crazy because coffee's like my only vice, like these days. But I literally, it was like once I got started on something, I obsessed over it. But you're gonna look forward to you'll look forward to the next video. I'll put it like that. Till next time, y'all be good. Peace.